Live from San Diego, California, this is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans, with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eitzmo, and Mike Maciejewski. We're talking Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs sports. It's time to let your voice be heard.
All right. This is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans
by the fans.
And we are back in action, and we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. San Diego sports, if you guys have been living under a rock, has been going kind of crazy this last week. Aztecs making news, conference tournament starting up this week. Free agency just opened up for the NFL, so Chargers making some moves. Padres baseball, they're taking it deep, for lack of terms.
It's funny how exciting we're getting. It's early. Somebody pointed out to me, they asked me, do you know who won the most games in spring training last year?
Who cares? Spring training don't matter.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
That was exactly his point.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, nobody remembers. However, how nice was it to see all those Padres hit home runs?
It was pretty
It
awesome.
was awesome. Only one spring training game.
Right.
But just the hint and the tease of what we might be able to get this season.
Yeah, seeing all those home runs, I was like, "Holy crap! We're gonna have like a record for home runs this season." And I was like, "No, we'll just hit about average number of home runs."
Well, it's funny.
That's what it feels like, though.
It was funny
we get so few. We're like, this is horrible.
This is what the Padres would look like if they played in Arizona.
Well, it's like, I looked at the score periodically during, the day, and they were down like 3-1, and I'm like, well, this is the normal Padres. We can't really come back. And then I really thought to myself, I'm like, wow, we have bats this year. And then sure enough, like 10 minutes later, Upton and Kemp go back-to-back. I'm like, wow, That's pretty cool. Tie game, or whatever it was at the time.
Supercharged was the first guy into the chat room.
Oh, man, I forgot to give him his award. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll be right in there, bud. Hold on.
And Darren's second in. Darren's been with us for a long time, always first or second in there.
Yeah,
so,
they call second, first loser, right?
Yes.
Darren, if you're going to be around when we open up our third segment and open up those phone lines, I know you're a huge Ryan Matthews fan, and I would like to hear.
Oh, that's right.
I would like to hear your 2 cents on the situation. So hopefully you're around then, guys. We're going to dive into the show, but really quick, some news. We have now on another platform called InTune Radio. TuneIn Radio. TuneIn Radio.
It's all right.
Sorry,
it's easy to screw up.
Yeah.
So now you can follow us on TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and obviously live now on Spreaker.com. You can download the Spreaker app and follow us every step of the way.
That's the most fun way because everybody who's listening to us live gets in on the chat room.
Right. Chat room's the best.
Yes, it is.
Right, exactly. So we have a big show lined up for you today. There's a lot of shaking going on in the Chargers roster. Obviously, we're going to talk some Padres, but first off, we're going to dive into some Aztecs basketball. The Aztecs finished the season co-champs, tied with Boise. It's kind of funny is that, a lot of people, in the Twitter sphere and whatnot, saying the Aztecs don't deserve to be co-champs because they lost to Boise twice. But, hey, we don't make the rules.
Exactly. I have a gripe with that. I mean, there's no rule to say if you finish, 2 losses down by one team, you don't get to be a co-champ with the same exact record. The rules are what they are, like you said, Josh.
There's no tiebreaker.
No, you still hang a banner. Right. You still had an amazing season, right? Overall, you played some quality RPI. We finished right there with Boise State. We're right in the same neck of the woods. We deserve that. We deserve to be co-champs. Yes, Boise beat us, but when we go into this tournament now, hopefully we get to replay them, just like a rematch like with Arizona hopefully is looming for us as well. Yeah, I disagree with all that banter. I think you are the co-champs, and you deserve to hang a banner for that season.
I totally agree, Justin. I think we've earned it fair and square. I mean, we were the best, if not one of the best teams in the Mountain West Conference, and we deserve to throw another banner up. That's back-to-back years for the Aztecs. Hopefully it'll be a three-peat next year. We move on now to the Mountain West Conference tournament, and Nevada loses today to UNLV in their first round. New Mexico as well loses to Air Force in the first round. So we now play UNLV tomorrow at 6 o'clock on CBS Sports. What do you guys think about, the matchup? We just played UNLV in UNLV, I believe, just recently. So now we're taking it to the Thomas and Mack Center once again in a short period of time. Mike, what do you think the Aztecs' chances are in this first round of the Mountain West Conference tournament?
Well, it's funny. I've been looking. I'm reading everything I can about predictions from other sources like NBC Sports, CBS Sports, and everywhere you look, the Aztecs are the favorite to win the tournament.
Right.
Of course, the adage that's hard to beat a team 3 times.
It is.
And regardless of what Darren in the chat room says, we don't hear him, Josh. Don't say we hear him. Don't support him. But Darren, by the way, if he's not listening, he says Boise is the champ in his opinion. Thankfully, his opinion doesn't matter. And really quick, I'm sorry, I'm off track, but all you hear that from is from fans whose teams did not win.
Right.
Yeah,
you have that one Wyoming fan on Twitter, and he's like mad. One.
One thing he brings up, who really cares about the tourney? He's talking about the Mountain West tournament.
Yeah, of course.
This is just a little precursor, and him saying that. What do you guys think? Is this tournament very important to you, or if they get bounced in the first round?
If you ask New Mexico fans, it's the only thing that matters.
Oh, they love this tournament. Yes, I know.
But
we know.
But no, I mean, we play UNLV. We got a good shot at this. Again, it's on their home court, which it's tougher to play there. But like I said, we're the favorites to win it. If you ask most media outlets,
right,
we're the favorites, and I don't see why we wouldn't be.
Yeah, no, I mean, like Darren's saying, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. It's like when we get to the finals, hopefully it's against Boise. It's going to be tough for them to beat us 3 times in a row. It's always going to be tough. It's a dogfight. But UNLV, we're catching them at a good time like we did a week ago. They're down guys. They're not up to par with their players. But what does worry me, like I was telling Josh, is they have a little bit of momentum going into tomorrow night's game with the crushing of Nevada. I don't care if it's against a Nevada defense. When you hit your shots, it gives you momentum, and it does give you a little leg up. And the Aztecs love the rest, I'm sure. But as far as momentum, I think UNLV has the upper hand in that point.
So Darren's comment in there, who cares about conference titles? It's all about the tourney, and he's talking about Mountain West, or not the Mountain West, he's talking about March Madness tournament. And I totally agree with you, Darren. I mean, but at the same time, it's nice to hang those banners.
It is nice to hang the banners.
The conference tournament, may not be important to some people, but the Aztecs still have to place in seeding, whether they're a 7 seed, a 6 seed, a 5 seed. So this tournament is important as far as seeding in March Madness.
Yeah, and then Darren goes on and says this program is beyond getting overexcited about a regular season title. And I agree with you, Darren.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I was at that game, and let me just tell you guys, no one stormed the court.
No.
We all just walked there kind of at a brisk pace to celebrate the guys.
Yeah, it took a while. It kind of was a delay.
Well, no, they let you in, but everybody's kind of waiting for Nevada
to leave, which was very respectful, by the way.
Everybody's waiting.
It wasn't a celebration like we came back when we beat New Mexico.
Right.
It was okay, we did it. Cool. On to the next step.
Yeah.
It was a celebration for the season. That's what I took it as.
Nice to be the champ, but bottom line is this program has evolved to the point where if they don't do anything in the tourney, then
expectation.
We've talked about this before. They don't do anything in the tourney, and then this season is basically a disappointment.
And one thing also is, there's 330 teams in the
360
NCAA,
teams
in Division I and the NCAA. So only one team's going to win it. So you got to have these little milestones, and we've talked about it. I don't think that the Aztecs obviously are the favorite to win the NCAA.
Oh,
I don't. I don't think we're right in the mix. No. I really don't think so. But obviously, any team can get hot. Right. Why can't it be our Aztecs?
Well, I agree with you because I think we're more or less an under the radar team. We're coming in as a 6 or a 7. Obviously, we weren't ranked as much as we thought we would this year. We would be. We were inconsistent with many games on the road, Boise State or whatnot. But going into this tournament, you have to feel, if you've watched this team for the course of the year and the way they've played at times and in stretches, I know Mike, you would agree, they can get hot with any team in the nation. And when you play, like Coach Fish says, defense travels. Offense may not travel, but defense does travel. And that's the best part about the Aztecs this season. Their defense has shown up pretty much each and every game this season.
I totally agree, Justin. I think the defense is what the Aztecs have to hang their hat on. Yes, they've had their offensive struggles, but they've had some really good offensive games too. I mean, they went in double overtime against BYU in the Maui Invitational, put up like 90-something points. Granted, that was in double overtime, but there was a lot of good games in that Maui Invitational they did, and they had a section where they ran off of like 6 or 7 straight in the beginning of conference play, where offensively they were playing really well. But defense wins championships, in my opinion, and the Aztecs are currently rated number 3 in the NCAA
In total D.
In total defensive points.
We do have to shout out Skylar Spencer, defensive player of the Mountain West Conference this year of the year. So that's another accolade to add.
J.G. O'Brien, first team.
Yes, sir.
We got we got Winston Shepard and
AQ.
No, who else was second team?
Winston Shepard. Winston second
and AQ third.
Yes.
So I do want to bring up one quick question in the chat room, and I know it's kind of a little off topic from what we talk about, but Jeremy, who just joined the show and the chat room, and we thank you. He said he just moved to Lexington, Kentucky from SoCal, and he thinks he wants to know: do you think that the Wildcats there might falter in the NCAA tournament?
Well, they're definitely beatable. I mean, this is my opinion. I think they're beatable, but they're a damn force. They are really good, and when you watch them on a nightly basis, I've just tuned into a couple games. Wow, they're imposing.
All right, here's a quick question for you. You guys have $100 to put on the tournament. You want to take them, or do you want to take the field?
The field.
I'd take the field.
Take the field.
Mike?
Anything can happen.
I'm taking them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, on my March Madness pools, I'm putting Kentucky in the finals.
Yeah.
I mean,
are they winning in your pool?
I have them winning the whole thing.
Really?
I haven't done it yet, but obviously,
like we talked about, I mean, it's something ridiculous. Like there's the 10 guys that play for them in the rotation. Out of the 10, there's 6 guys that are NBA first-round draft picks,
right?
Potentially, and the rest of the 4 are second-round potential draft picks. So I mean, it's crazy to me, but yeah, they're very good.
I mean, the way that you're going to beat Kentucky, and it's funny because I think their defense against our defense would be amazing. Obviously, they have more offense than us.
Right, that's the problem.
But the problem, I also think, is that you're going to see a team that can shoot from the outside is the team that beats them. If you remember when we played North Carolina State, we were 7th seed, and they were 10, and it was like the worst matchup in the world because they were so big down low.
Right.
That all they did was go down low, and we had no chance. We lost by 9 that day, I believe.
Yep.
Like 68, no, it's like 78-69 or something. And I remember, like, Kentucky, if you try to go down on them all day, that sounded horrible. Yeah. If you try to go down low
this is the kid show. Come on, man.
If you try to go down low in the post, you got Willie Cauley-Stein, those guys. I mean,
they're imposing.
Spencer, Chol, JJ. I mean, JJ's advantages are going to be gone.
Now, but the Aztecs is speaking on that. At least the Aztecs have options there. They can pretty much stack up with any team in the nation. Am I wrong? Size-wise. Maybe not offense-wise, but they could put some guys in there that, put a Pope in there. I don't know if they're going to bang down low like Kentucky can.
Right.
That didn't sound good either. But you know what I'm saying. They do match up with a lot of these big teams.
One thing I think that we compare in another platform with Kentucky, and I'm not saying we're on their level per se, but our depth. They can run out basically 2 starting rosters out there on the court and be dominant, and so can the Aztecs. And I think that's where both of these teams are going to be formidable in March Madness because of the depth. They can wear teams down. You're going to run into teams that are only 7 or 8 deep, and late in the second half, they're going to get worn down.
Yeah, and it's not really dominant. I just think that they'll be. What we can do is we can throw wave after wave at teams.
Yes.
If something's not working, you can go to your Malik Popes, your Dakari Allens, your Angelo Scholes, and not miss much.
And then the addition of Dwayne.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I mean, obviously this helps us going into this tournament, and severely needed. You saw the pokeaways with the. Obviously, you missed that dunk last week, which was crazy embarrassing. But
let me stop you for just one second. Hassan in the chat room. First, I want to welcome you to the show, but he says, "I know you're talking state, but it's official. Eddie signed."
Yeah, I saw that. I just
signed with who?
Eddie Royal signed back with the Chargers.
No,
no,
with the
he didn't. And nobody said with who.
With Chicago.
Oh, okay. So Eddie's gone. So I guess we're going to be addressing a lot of key positions in the draft.
Oh, it's crazy. I was listening to the radio, and I got here like 5 minutes before, and I hadn't heard that. So
I have this weird feeling Reggie Wayne's going to be a Charger. Anybody else? I'm serious.
Telesco?
It's Telesco's guy, and he's not a Andre Johnson, but I don't know. I just have a weird feeling.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. There's going to be more Aztec talk later on in the show. But right now, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Jake Hefner from ProFootballSpot.com giving his take on all these Chargers making moves.
That's right. And work your body down. Yeah. No time to funk around, cause we gon' funk you right on up. So get up, get a move on, and get your groove on. It's the DRE, the spectacular. In a party, I go for your neck, so call me Blackula. As I drain, a niggas juggle a vein and maintain the lead blood stain. So don't complain, just chill. Listen to the beats I spill, keeping it real.
Yes, finally it's time for a show like this. I'm talking about none other than The Big Show with hosts Nick and Darren. We will steer you, the listener, towards the winner's circle. We'll tell you where, and more importantly, where not to throw your pennies week after week. I mean, why lose that cash when there's plenty of other vices to feed, right? We'll talk anything. You can make a wager on it, for sure we'll be talking about it. So don't forget to catch us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, beginning April 1st. There's going to be so much going on by then, can't wait. Hear us only on Spreaker and iTunes, The Big Show. And give us a shout on Twitter, at The Big Show. We'll see you in April, and remember, if it feels good, do it. Do it.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Are you a San Diego sports fanatic or looking for a user-friendly sports platform to voice your opinion? Then visit us at SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com or message our lead editor on Twitter at Mike_SDSJ. You'll soon be showing the world your passion for San Diego sports on our blog.
Also, listen to our live podcast every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We are a show for fans, by the fans, talking Chargers, Padres, Aztecs, and anything San Diego sports. All right, guys, we are back, and we are better than ever because we have Mr. LA Live, Jake Hefner, on board from ProFootballSpot.com.
Him with the new Twitter handle now, too.
Welcome to the show, Jake.
Oh, sorry. Try it again because I had him off.
Welcome to the show, Jake. Yellow.
Can you hear us?
Technical difficulty.
Yeah.
Bear with us. One moment.
That's awesome.
Hello, Jake. You're on with the San Diego Sports
Can you
Monkeys.
hear us?
Sorry, you guys there?
There we
what's
go.
up, man?
Hey, there's the man, the myth, and the legend.
Wow.
Sorry, Stay Live is not quite as hot as it was 5 minutes ago, I guess.
So, man, the Chargers making some serious moves, shoring up the offense, and there's also some other guys that have recently moved. First and foremost, what do you think is the most shocking move so far?
In all the free agency, or just dealing with the San Diego Chargers?
San Diego Chargers. You know we're a San Diego sports show. Come on, Jake.
But hey, there's just so many moves going around.
No
My
kidding.
head's been couple days for sure. But hey, let's start off with just the breaking news right now. It has been confirmed by Michael Gelkin that Eddie Royal is in fact signing a 3-year deal with the Chicago Bears, so he will not be returning to San Diego.
Wow.
I think that's it's not so much as shocking as it is, disappointing. Just when you think about what Eddie really meant for the team and what he did during training camp. Taking the pay cut to free up some cap space last year, the development that he brought on with Dontrell Inman and the rest of the young wide receiving corps. I guarantee you, having a veteran like that and the leadership that Eddie brought is definitely going to be missed in the locker room. So it's very sad to see him go.
What a bummer for him now. He's going to have to try and catch passes with from Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, he had himself a couple really, really good wide receivers there, and he still stunk. So, I think that, I was probably one of Eddie Royal's biggest fans here. I thought that we actually underutilized him a little bit when he was here. But unfortunately for him, I think he's going to get a rude awakening this year when he realizes, what a downgrade he's going to quarterback-wise. Uh-oh.
Jake, you there?
Did we lose him again?
The most productive seasons that Eddie actually had, when Jay Cutler was in Denver for that short period of time, Eddie actually thrived in that offense. And then, of course, what he progressively did for the Chargers was just fantastic. And, of course, last year having his best year in San Diego since his tenure there. So I'm sure that he could actually become a big focal point to take some pressure off of Alshon Jeffrey in Chicago. So, a lot of people said that he went there just for his familiarity with Jay and the history of the coaching staff that he does have there that's now in Chicago. Best wishes to him, but we got to move on to more important things.
Hey, Jake, it's Justin. With that being announced, where do they go from here? Andre Johnson was a big target for them. Colts snagged him. It sounds like he wanted to play with Frank Gore and Andrew Luck. Still some veteran wide receivers out there. To your knowledge, who is available? Give us the rundown on wideouts, because now we're left with an aging Malcolm Floyd, a number 2 wide receiver in my opinion, and Keenan Allen, and you have a Dontrell Inman that's on the rise, and that's pretty much it for now. So what do you see for the future here at wide receiver?
Well, I really like the signing of Jacoby Jones. Obviously, that was one of the big, first things after signing King Dunlap and after re-signing Brandon Flowers. We go out and we get Jacoby Jones, which is definitely going to help us in the kick return game. The Chargers were almost dead last, I think, pretty close to the bottom at the very least in return yards off of kickoffs and punt returns. I think that Jacoby's actually going to bring a lot more to the wide receiving core than you actually might think. He is a bigger body type guy. He's a veteran. And, I think already the rapport that he has with Phillip, you think about the guys who kind of come up and out of nowhere and you're not really expecting them to do much once they're activated on game day. I think Jacoby's going to be another one of those guys. If you look at what Rivers did when Dontrell Inman was called up to post in the middle of the San Francisco game, he stepped right in, and when Phillip got him the ball, he kept getting it to him. I think not necessarily as far as volume-wise that Jacoby is going to contribute with all the other weapons the Chargers have on offense, but I think he's going to become a very focal part of the offense. He can play the outside. He can play the slot if he wants to. So in terms of a replacement for Eddie Royal from that standpoint, I think we already have him on the roster, which is a good step forward. Keep going. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I just wanted to mention Austin Pettis. I know we had signed him previously before all this melee went down with the free agency or whatnot. What's his role going to be, too? I know he's added to the roster as well. So, what does he bring, too? I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I wanted to see your opinion on Austin Pettis.
That's okay. He's actually one that we have to remember signed a couple months ago. And he's kind of on a prove-it-to-himself type deal, considering the fact that he was released by the Rams and nobody wanted to pick him up during the middle of last season. He definitely is going to be fighting for a roster spot. Like you said, Dontrell Inman is on the way up, and he's going to have to compete with these other receivers that have more tenure and more rapport with the Chargers quarterbacks, Javonte Herdman, who's also in there as well. So Austin's going to have to start at the very, very bottom and really prove his way up the ladder. When it comes to, the best I could probably see for him in the beginning, if you really look at training camp, if he goes through and has a great one, he'll probably start off, at the second tier level of the wide receivers. He probably actually end up battling out between Jacoby Jones and Dontrell Inman to see who really gets that sixth receiver spot. And, of course, we've all seen this when it comes down to the final days of preseason, who ultimately is going to get cut. So Austin Pettis has a very big mountain to climb, but if he does well, I think he could become a really good contributor for the Chargers, just depending on how their offense is going to be revamped now that obviously the Chargers have put all their first priority in rebuilding the offensive line.
Which is a good thing, and I think we can all agree on that. I want to stay on the same topic, actually. SoCal Trav, a.k.a. the mayor, had a question for you, Jake. He wants to know, we still need a number one wide receiver, in his opinion. How do you feel about giving up a draft pick and maybe Inman for somebody like A.J. Green?
Well, first off, hello to the unofficial mayor of San Diego.
The honorable.
Well, I mean, Inman in a draft pick. I mean, for A.J. Green, I think that Cincinnati would, want to burn down the front office of Cincinnati if that actually happened. But I mean, that's an interesting proposal. No doubt about it. I'm sure that we would be talking about a first-round pick and Dontrell Inman if we were talking about that hypothetical trade. But, I mean, who in that sense wouldn't pull the trigger on that for a number one wide receiver who's still in his prime, who's still an ultimate playmaker that can stretch the field? If that was the trade that obviously was proposed, I'm sure it would not be that case. But if that was the trade, I would pull the trigger hands down.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Jake. Jake, any receivers? I know some names have been floating out there. Any receivers you see that the Chargers might be entertaining? I know Stevie Johnson's been brought up. The beloved Percy Harvin has been brought up as well. Any of those guys? Any traction of those? Or just fan speculation?
I know that a lot of people have been talking about Reggie Wayne and Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin. To me, if you can walk away, if you can cause that much of a locker room problem from a team that you just won the Super Bowl with 2 years ago, then there has to be something wrong. I wouldn't see why Percy at all would be unhappy with his role on that team, because when you saw what the Seattle Seahawks ultimately needed in a wide receiver, they didn't have it. And during those first couple of games, when we saw it in the second game of the season, he was a very integral part of that offense. And to what he did off the field, apparently they got him released, and to go to the Jets and be completely flat, to be with three teams virtually in the span of 3 years, is cause for a concern. And you don't need to take away a guy like Eddie Royal and to what he meant for the team and to replace him with Percy Harvin. And we all know that the injury concern is obviously there on top of everything else. So I don't think that, depending on the money that he's looking for as well, if the Chargers really do go that route, it should not be a very high-priced dollar figure that they should be throwing out at him at the very least. Again, I'm totally against the idea of bringing Percy Harvin in here. I don't think that we need a player with injury issues. We already let one go today. So we don't need to bring that in. And then as far as Reggie Wayne goes, there was talk us missing out on Andre Johnson that we were going to throw. We actually threw him more money than what the Colts were offering. There's still a difference in age of 4 years between Andre Johnson, who's 33, and Reggie Wayne, who's 37. To me, you're just getting an older Malcolm Floyd in that type of sense. And the Chargers don't need to get older at wide receiver. They need to get younger, and they need to get faster.
I love that point. They do need to get younger. They do need to get faster. And I might be going against everything that I've ever said ever since we did the first day on the show, but I think...
Oh, wait a minute. I know it's going to happen.
The Chargers might need to draft themselves a wide receiver.
Oh, my God.
Did you just say that?
I'm not committed to it yet. Relax, I'm not committed to it yet.
All right.
But I'm sure thinking that way. Now, we could be talking wide receiver all night, but we do need to move on. Let's move on to the offensive line. Chargers brought in Orlando Franklin. They released Reinhardt. I think there's not anybody on earth that would not rather have Franklin at guard than Reinhardt. However, what do you see the Chargers doing from here? We have the left side of the line solidified, but we still have some questions at who's going to be playing center. I know they re-signed Trevor Robinson, which I thought was a great re-sign. We're not sure where Chris Watt's going to be. We're not sure where DJ Fluker's going to be. What do you see them doing offensive line-wise now?
I think I was in the minority that actually was just a little bit surprised that Reinhardt was released. And the only reason I say that is that I know that he was at the very bottom of the pack when it comes to, offensive line performance. But when you weigh his contribution of a 16-game starter, despite his performance against what Johnny Troutman has done for that offensive lineman, I would think that it would be a no-brainer as far as who should actually end up getting released. I think when it really came down to it, is that Reinhardt ultimately cost more money than Johnny Troutman playing on a rookie contract.
Yes.
So that's what really was the contributing factor into letting him go and freeing up more cap space. But going out and making your offensive line your number one priority and getting a mauler like Orlando Franklin, I wanted Orlando Franklin all the way back to when he was in college, and was so bummed when I saw that he ended up going over to the Denver Broncos, because I looked at this guy, and the guy can play, no doubt about it. He's going to solidify that left side of the offensive line against, standing next to 6'9" King Dunlap, and he's 6'7" himself. They're going to create a wall that's going to protect Phillip Rivers' blind side, no doubt about it. He can revamp the running game from the left side of the ball. He's great in pass protection as well. So I was really excited when I heard that the Chargers were going to ultimately sign Orlando Franklin.
Now, do you think that the Chargers are going to be looking at anybody else? I know that it's still kind of early because there's still some people that can be released. Do you think they're looking to draft themselves a right tackle? I know that we've heard Fluker going guard, Fluker going back to tackle. Do you have any predictions on what the Chargers are going to do on the right side of the line? And where's Watt going to end up playing?
I think they have solidified Chris Watt as their center. The good thing about the Trevor Robinson deal, obviously, is that he can play both guard and he can play at center. You also have Jeremiah Sirles, who stepped up a little bit late in the season last year. That's also a depth position at guard. So you do have that as well. But you need a seasoned veteran or a seasoned starter or another rookie that's going to be able to step in and play on day one. So the Chargers could still fluctuate Fluker from guard to tackle, depending on obviously what happens if they decide to invest in another offensive lineman in free agency, or ultimately if they end up going in the draft. Now, with the guard position and the tackle position, we've talked about this a lot when we've covered the positions over the last couple of weeks. But you're in a position now, because you've solidified Phillip Rivers' blind side, that you may be able to wait until the second or the third round to invest in a good offensive lineman. Let's not forget, Luis Vasquez, a couple of years back, was a third-round pick, and he ended up being our starting right guard for years. Mm-hmm. So you can wait until those type of rounds to get somebody who's going to be able to perform on your line from day one. As we shift and as we talk a little bit more here, I really think that the draft focus, ultimately, with from what you've seen the Chargers do so far, they're going to have to really invest in the defensive side of the ball.
Hey, Jake, quick question since we're on the offensive line talk, and I've heard this a couple times from local radio and from other people just in conversation on Twitter. Hassan Alamar in our chat room, he had mentioned his prediction for offensive line, starting from left tackle with Dunlap. He thinks our left guard is going to be a draft pick, Watt at center, Fluker at right guard, and then Franklin at right tackle. And my question to you is, do you think Franklin could fill that right tackle role?
Absolutely. That's what he played when he was in Denver for 3 years before he ended up getting shifted over to guard this last season. He came out today and said, I'm here to play left guard. But if we know anything about Mike McCoy and the work that he puts in with his offensive linemen, teaching them, especially from left guard to center to right guard to right tackle even, he wants to get a full rotation in should the injuries ever happen the way they did this last year, and be able to have guys that he could plug and play in virtually multitude of positions. So Franklin can play all across the line, in my opinion, if he wanted to. It's definitely a possibility that the Chargers can draft a left guard and shift Franklin over. As we know, nothing is really set in stone at this point because there's so much more of the offseason to go through, but that's an absolute possibility.
Okay, I got one more quick question from Twitter for you before Justin chimes in here. Geppetto from Twitter Sphere here, he wants to know, can you see the Chargers being interested in someone like a Joe Barksdale at right tackle and moving Fluker to guard?
Joe Barksdale. I could see that happening again. I mean, it just really depends on, it has to be a right fit for the Chargers. Him coming in and meshing with that type of a line, at this point with Fluker, anything is possible as far as shifting guard to tackle. It's all there. So it's all going to really depend on the combination that Mike McCoy and Coach G. Alessandris are going to be comfortable with for having the best 5 guys that they feel comfortable enough to open up the running lanes and protect their quarterback. So the offensive line by no means is set in stone, and as we move forward here throughout the draft and what we could already predict, or free agency, what we could already predict is going to be the final offensive line, I really don't think that that's going to be the case until we ultimately get to through preseason and into September.
Absolutely, Jake. Let's get down to brass tacks, bud.
Here we
What
go.
is Chip Kelly doing? Let's get down to Brad. Let's get down some real talk here. What is Chip Kelly doing?
He's running that team and doesn't really have anybody to answer to. He's basically, this is how I equated it. It's basically as if Jerry Jones was coaching the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, because he's doing everything that basically he wants to do, and he doesn't have anybody to answer to for it. And when you see all the moves that have been done already, especially the big acquisition of Sam Bradford, when you had just signed Mark Sanchez to a 2-year contract, was just insane.
I thought I'd get your opinion on that, Jake, because that's what everybody's been talking about. That's a global story right now.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense in the long run to give up a second-round pick, albeit next year, but for a guy who really hasn't played out his contract because he's been injured consecutively so many years since he got drafted, comes with a huge risk. I think that the St. Louis Rams, as of this moment right now, won that trade hands down.
Oh yeah, they got rid of Bradford. Come on now. I wanted to move on to running back, but I had one more question. I saw it in Twitter, I think, and Jake Long was released. Do you think there's any chance of the Chargers bringing him in at tackle?
The Chargers need healthy offensive linemen. I can't necessarily say that bringing in Chris Long,
excuse me.
Yes, would solidify that problem at all. Not to say that I don't have confidence that he could be healthy, but he has had a lot of injury risks in his career so far. Depending on what the dollar amount is, and I mean, he's a good veteran, has experience, but just with all the injuries that the Chargers offensive line went through, I think that would be a big risk to possibly throw him into it.
Now, I just want to clarify something. Jason was talking about Jake Long, who was released by the St. Louis Rams.
Injury problems.
So we are talking about the same guy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's my fault. Jake Long.
And then also, now the Chargers did lose their number one running back, even though we've spent lots of time on this show debating on whether or not we should keep him or he should go. That's all in the past now because he's gone. Is the Chargers starting running back currently on the roster, or do you think that they might? People are talking about Adrian Peterson. People are talking. Are they going to make a free agent move, or do you think that they're going to wait for the draft now to replace him?
I honestly think that waiting until the draft is honestly the best move that the Chargers can do right now. Aside from, obviously, the big-name free agents that are left at running back, DeMarco Murray, which is obviously not coming here. It's down to a 3-horse race for him. His decision is likely to come tonight to wherever team he's going to go. Adrian Peterson, I don't want to give up any draft picks for that man, especially even investing that much in a 28-year-old running back. I don't want to do that because the Chargers have more need than just a running back who believe that can just change the entire game, because I don't think he can play defense. I don't think, last time I checked, Adrian Peterson can't play nose tackle. So I don't want to throw all the money at Adrian Peterson. And
Great point.
The rest of you look at the rest of the free agency crop. You know, you've got C.J. Spiller, who in my opinion is like a Ryan Matthews light. He has injury problems. You have a Justin Forsett, who's, again, in the same type of a situation as an Adrian Peterson. Great runner, but he's getting up there in age, and it looks like he's probably going to end up staying with Baltimore because they really want to keep him. Stephen Ridley was one that I was actually looking that was going to fly under the radar, and he's probably going to be able to be signed on for the cheap. But, of course, he's coming off of a torn ACL himself. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it just really starts dropping off. You know, we've talked about Reggie Bush. There's Pierre Thomas. There's Ahmad Bradshaw. There's Darren McFadden. There's Noshawn Moreno. It just doesn't look good from the standpoint of the free agent market. So I think really with as rich as the draft class is for running backs this year, you really want to focus on the possibility. Let's not forget, Melvin Gordon had his pro day today, and the first scouts that he met with was the San Diego Chargers. So I think the San Diego Chargers are very much invested in the possibility of acquiring him at 17, should he be there. You have other possibilities like Kevin Gordon, or you have Jay, however you say his last name. It's a really funky name. But, there are so many running backs in this draft class that, in my opinion, when you couple them with the running backs the Chargers already have, could really ultimately solidify something, and hopefully you would draft somebody who could become an instant starter from day one.
Hey, Jake, your assessment on Duke Johnson, was he a late-round guy, and would he be worth a shot or a risk to take in the draft?
You know, I'm one of the few people that actually like what Duke Johnson brings to the table. Okay. He's a bigger type of a running back. He's bruiser. He's all downhill. You know, he's not the flash in the pan, you know, type guys that you see. He's just a guy who can get you the yardage, and he would probably be available in the mid rounds. So if it really came down to it, where the Chargers threw everything that they had at their defense in the early parts of the draft, I could totally see them taking a flare on somebody like him. You know, he's in my opinion, that's just what he does. He moves the pile, and you know, he's not flash. He's not highlight reel material, in my opinion, but he's a guy who's big and strong and can get you the yardage that you need.
That'd actually be a pretty good fit, I think, for the Chargers, the type of running back we're looking for. You know, one other thing with free agency right now, have the Chargers talked about, or are there any rumors about them bringing in any defensive tackles? I know there's a few of them out there still. I think Knighton was at first talked about going to the Raiders, but he decided he did not want to end his career, so I don't think he's going there. Any talk about bringing any defensive tackles that you've heard?
You know, I'm surprised, and this is why I'm thinking that the Chargers are kind of showing their hand here, because there's been absolutely no word from them bringing in any nose tackles. You know, I was waiting and wondering to see what was going to happen. You know, we haven't heard any word on Vince Wilfork yet, the possibility of bringing in. Terrence Knighton obviously thinks from both Denver and Oakland that he's worth a lot more than what they were throwing at him. I believe he thinks that he's worth $8 million at this stage of his career, which I don't know if he's truly worth that much. I know he's a great defensive tackle, but I don't think that I would even throw $8 million his way to bring him to San Diego. And then, of course, we had Dan Williams, who ultimately ended up signing with Oakland, which I was kind of bummed that we missed out on that about. But you've heard no talk whatsoever about bringing in a nose tackle. So you have to really wonder what it is that the Chargers are doing. You know, you do have a Greg Hardy out there who still, you know, supposedly has 9 teams that are interested in him, and I'm hoping that the Chargers are one, because aside from the field issues, I think he would be a great addition to the defensive line. I really do. But aside from that, it's been all quiet on the Western Front when it comes to the defensive tackle position.
What's your thoughts on Wilfork, since we're on the conversation?
Well, I mean, the latest that I did hear about him was that there is a possibility now that he could see himself go back to New England when New England obviously lost out on the Darrelle Revis campaign. So he could probably, for as much loyalty as he has to New England, he could probably go back on a team-friendly deal if he did anything at all. I know that there were some interest from other teams, but of course, no word around Wilfork. But at his size and at his age, you know what he can do. You're not bringing him in to put the quarterback on his back. You're putting him in there to stop the run on first and second downs and let your linebackers get after the quarterback on third down. That's specifically what he is all about. And if there was an opportunity for the Chargers to sign him, I can't say I'd be against it because I was really open to it for the possibility last year when there was a bunch of talk about him possibly being released. I would go for it.
Sorry, he's a reasonable get, right? He's not commanding a ton of money. He'd get the veteran, not minimum, but he'd get some good money. Maybe a 3-year deal, 2-year deal, maybe 3rd-year option. What do you look for money range? Could you see him doing $5 million per season at maybe $10 million contract? What do you think?
Somewhere around $5 million a year, I think would be a fair enough assessment for him, just considering that he still puts up really good production. Age aside, it really doesn't matter. And I think if the Chargers were smart and they wanted to go that route, I think that they would sign him to a short-term deal, be it 2 to 3 years, 3rd-year option, like you said, and draft a nose tackle in the first 2 rounds as a developmental replacement. Think of what the Baltimore Ravens have just done when they lose Haloti Ngata, but last year they drafted their heir apparent in Timmy Jernigan, but also got him rotating into the line and already got him playing time. These are the type of moves that the Chargers really have to start thinking about to where they really, they won't really miss a beat as the years go on. So they have to progressively start thinking about the future, even when it comes to rotating in defensive linemen that ultimately may be, getting up there in age.
Now, hold on one second. Now, with all that being said, do you think that the Chargers had released I just lost his name, offensive lineman
For who?
the Chargers, the guy
Reinhardt.
I'm sorry, Reinhardt. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. The Chargers lost. They cut Chad Reinhardt. Do you think there's going to be any other surprise cuts coming forward that I know they released? Boy, I'm having a hard time with some names right now. The linebacker, the backup linebacker. Can't remember his name. Anyways,
Gachkar?
no, Gachkar's a free agent. He's going to sign somewhere else. Do you think that there's going to be any more surprise releases from the Chargers, or do you think that they've pretty much done all that?
I think if there is I know who you're talking about now. You're talking about Reggie Walker.
Reggie Walker, thank you.
I think if they're at this point, just because the Chargers still have a good amount of cap space left to do some damage in free agency, depending on who it is that they're really looking at. I think if we are going to see them release anybody, it's not going to come until the Chargers actually bring somebody in, and you'll see that cap space clear out. So, with the people that the Chargers have already lost, like you said, Gachkar's out there. Gilchrist looks like he's going to go to the Jets,
Yep.
which I know one of you is extremely happy about.
Yeah. I'm upset about that, but the other guys hate him, so whatever.
Don't get mad.
And then you lose Ryan Matthews and you lose Eddie Royal. So as it progresses, the Chargers still have a little bit of, free agents that are out there. It'll be interesting to see if they bring any of them back, because Telesco does like to work from the inside out when it comes to keeping his own. So I think there could be some surprise cuts if the Chargers really go after a big-name guy, depending on what the position is, because we all know that there are a lot of free agents out there and a lot of different holes that the Chargers need to fill. So, only time is going to tell. And to be honest with you, I think it's really going to tell between now and Saturday, within the next 42 hours. So we're really going to see what the Chargers have up their sleeve.
Yeah, I agree. And, the funny thing is this week we were supposed to talk special teams, and with all the free agent moves that the Chargers made, we ended up going free agency. And so we're going to do the same thing. Next week, we're going to plan on talking special teams. However, if a bunch of interesting stuff happens between now and next Wednesday, we're going to talk about that, and we'll just keep pushing off the special teams to the back of the bus like most teams do anyways. We do appreciate hearing from you every single week, Jake. For those of you who don't know, he did change his Twitter handle. He is now Jake T. Hefner, if you want to follow him on Twitter.
Jake T.
And we appreciate talking to you every week, and thanks for coming on this week, Jake.
Hey, Jake, also, make sure you let everybody know to come on down to profootballspot.com and, check out your articles. You got anything cooking that you can kind of tease us a little bit?
Well, you know what? I have to inform you guys that, unfortunately, this week I'm taking a sabbatical because I am actually heading to Ojai for a wedding this weekend. So I will be gone from Friday until Monday. So I probably will not have any material up for this weekend like I normally do. But for the next weekend, obviously, depending on what happens with the free agency moves, what type of moves the Chargers are going to make, definitely expect it to be revolving around those topics.
Right on, Jake. We appreciate, again, as always, and for Steve-O calling in, we'll get right to you. But, Jake, we'll talk to you next Wednesday, as always. Same place, same time, my friend.
Sounds good, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Jake.
All right, buddy. So that's Jake Hefner from ProFootballSpot.com. We're going to take a quick break, and it's going to be time to open up the phone lines for Steve-O and company who want to share their, Chargers questions on the line. So stick with us here. Phone line's going to be 619-866-4567, and we'll get you on next after the break.
If you're in my line, I'ma go around the side and still bring it. Sky is the limit, out of my way. You can't get me down. No time for the wicked. If you're in my line, I'ma go around the side and still bring it. Sky is the limit, out of my way. You can't get me down. There's nothing like a clear peace of mind to overcome the hardships in life. To sort out the wrong from the right. Someone's in line, but they can't get me down. I got my own self by my side. And mentally we gotta be free. I see the wickedness coming full speed.
Are you a San Diego sports fanatic or looking for a user-friendly sports platform to voice your opinion? Then visit us at SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com or message our lead editor on Twitter at Mike_SDSJ. You'll soon be showing the world your passion for San Diego sports on our blog.
Also listen to our live podcast every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We are a show for fans, by the fans. Talking Chargers, Padres, Aztecs, and anything San Diego sports.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Yes, finally it's time for a show like this. I'm talking about none other than The Big Show with hosts Nick and Darren. We will steer you, the listener, towards the winner's circle. We'll tell you where, and more importantly, where not to throw your pennies week after week. I mean, why lose that cash when there's plenty of other vices to feed, right? We'll talk anything. You can make a wager on it, for sure we'll be talking about it. So don't forget to catch us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, beginning April 1st. There's going to be so much going on by then, can't wait. Hear us only on Spreaker and iTunes, The Big Show. And give us a shout on Twitter, at The Big Show. We'll see you in April, and remember, if it feels good, do it. Do it.
So rarely in this world are these chances given twice. I indeed sold my soul without glancing at the price. No instructions when I was handed this device. But with what I did get, I was more than generous. Put others over self on several instances. But I'm back on my feet without a hint of bitterness. And one way or another, I shall have deliverance. So I say, I've been traveling for some time.
All right, guys, we're back. This is where we kind of open it up. We talk about just about anything. Phone lines are open, 619-866-4567. Quick shout out to everybody who's participating in the chat room. Supercharged Darren, Portland Bolt fan. Jeremy Randall Perryman, brand new. First time I've seen him in there. Hula for me, of course. Charger Zone. SoCal Trav, the mayor. Life's Journey, Hassan Alamar. First time I've seen him. I don't know if he's been there before. Chelsea Peace, Rosie. Trevor Brown, who in the chat room, I saw him mention the Chargers are going to be sorry they let Ryan Matthews go, and he caught a little bit of flack for that. I'm 100% behind you on that, Trevor, excuse me. Sloppy Joe Sr. called in a few times. Bolt Fam Graphics. Geppetto on Twitter, and all sorts of other people that I missed. It scrolls so dang fast, I can't catch everybody's name, but I'm trying to get everybody's name. Open forum, guys. What do you think so far about some of the things that Jake said? Do you think that we should be getting ourselves a running back in free agency? You think we should be drafting? Remember, we only have one first-round draft choice. You know, do we want to use that on a running back? What do you guys think?
For me, my opinion, I think we wait till the draft for a running back. Personally, like Jake had alluded to, I don't want to overpay for a running back that's getting older. I don't know about you guys. I'd like to get a guy maybe 23, 24 years old with fresh legs right out of college. As far as defensive tackles, though, I would love to entertain the idea of a Knighton or a Wilfork maybe for first and second downs to really solidify that middle of the defensive line.
I think Knighton's asking too much. I think that
right.
It's real easy to as a fan to just say, yeah, they should sign Sue and they should sign this guy and they should sign that guy. But they gotta spend their money smart.
Of course, smart
and
money.
If Knighton's looking for $10 million a year or whatever, we can't waste that much money on him. We just can't do it.
All right, we got a caller. Welcome to San Diego Sports Junkies. Who do we got on the line?
Hey, it's Trevor.
What up, Trevor?
How's it going, man?
How's it going, man?
Dude, our phone lines are going crazy, Trev, so we're going to have to keep it short so we can try to get everybody on. But what do you want to talk about?
I think the Chargers should go after Justin Forsett. He hasn't re-signed, right, with the Ravens?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
You don't think he's going to be looking for a little bit? He had quite a season, best season of his career. You don't think that he's going to be asking for too much money, do you?
Yeah, but they don't really have any other options. Well, I guess they could draft somebody, but you never know what you're going to get through the draft, though.
Yeah.
Could get a bust.
No, I'm kind of with you, Trevor. I mean, I kind of feel like Forsett's that guy. He said many times he wants to prove that last season wasn't a fluke and that he can really be a big running back and he can be a big-time running back in this league. And he has very little tread on those tires.
Yeah.
So I kind of see that. Again, I think all the guys out there might be just short-term answers. I think drafting one might be the long-term solution at running back. And I don't know what you think about that.
What do you think about Donald?
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I don't think they can afford to take the chance at that running back in the draft because if the running back doesn't pan out, then Chargers offense is in trouble. We saw what happened last year when Ryan Matthews was hurt.
Exactly. I agree completely with that. I do worry about drafting a running back and counting on that. And what do you think about Donald Brown? Do you think that that last season was a fluke for him, or do you think they should just let him go?
I think he's not that good, but I don't think he's as bad as everybody says he is. Because our offensive line was pretty bad last year, but I don't see him as the answer.
And we get Danny Woodhead back. Hallelujah.
Yeah, God, finally.
Yeah. And like I said, we have to cut you short here today, Trevor, but really quick, I want to just give you a shout-out, man. You've been hilarious in the chat room today. I just give you props on that, man. You've been saying some good stuff.
Holding it down in the chat room. Holding it down.
I'm just saying, sometimes, Trevor's new to the show, but he's getting the confidence out there.
The hardest part, Trevor, is this chat room is awesome. Everybody in this chat room is awesome. Some of the stuff they say we can't repeat. And it's really, really hard to hold back the laughs because people don't know what we're laughing about when we're reading your comments. But we thank you, Trevor, for having the guts to call into the show, and we hope you can become a regular, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot, man.
So that opens up our phone line, 619-866-4567. SoCal Trav, a.k.a. the mayor. It's your time, my friend. Give us a call.
Trevor, I agree with a lot of I didn't. Unfortunately, I can't follow everything in the chat room, but everything I read up there that he put, I kind of agree with. And I don't think the Chargers should – I don't want to call it waste a draft pick on a running back, but I think that they have so many other needs. I think that they can get themselves a running back in free agency.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, we got SoCal Trav, a.k.a. the mayor, on the line. What's up, SoCal?
Good evening, constituents. How are you?
The honorable mayor.
The whole chat room's waiting for the breaking news, Trav. You've been teasing everybody all day today on Twitter.
Well, I actually told Jake already what was going on. What I got this morning, well, besides the Ryan Matthews information that I sent out and that actually panned out, which I knew was going to, I actually heard last night that he was going to go to Philadelphia and play for Chip Kelly, who I don't like because he's obviously an Oregon Duck and I'm a Trojan fan. So.
You're showing Rosenthal what's up. I like it.
So, yeah, did you like that? Did you see that tweet on there, dude? That was badass.
Yeah.
No, what the deal was that what I had gotten information from and I've been bugged all day about is that the Chargers were going to trade away 2 draft picks and another player to get Adrian Peterson from the Vikings.
Whoa.
So, but I did find out that I guess they decided not to. It's too costly, and I didn't like it when I heard it because of the fact that there's so much good talent in that draft for running back. It's absolutely sick how great it is. I don't think Adrian Peterson is going to be all that great coming back. He's been removed 1 year already from the game. And I'm glad that really did not happen because I would have been actually pretty pissed. I don't want Adrian Peterson in a Chargers uniform, so I'm glad it didn't work out.
Do you think that, I know the Chargers right now, they're trying to build a stadium. They're worried about public perception. Do you think signing someone like bringing in someone like Adrian Peterson, who there's a lot of people who thought, well, he did his time, let him move on. But do you think that might there might have been a little bit of backlash to that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to judge him for what he did because, it's none of my business. And, I judge him as a player because I'm only concerned about his talents on the field. I know what he did was wrong, but I don't go that route. It's none of my business. I don't talk about it.
Right.
What he does is his personal life is his personal business, and it's none of my business. But I don't think that I'm glad they didn't do anything with him, and I don't think bringing him here would have been the right move for the Chargers organization as a whole. As you know, Tom Telesco does not like the bad guys, so to speak. And he's all about clean, good boys coming to the San Diego team and nothing with any trouble. That's no baggage. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not.
Hey, Mayor. It's Justin, man.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
You having a good day? What's up? You all right?
Dude, I'm having a great day.
Good. Good to hear.
A lot of good stuff going on.
Good, man.
What else?
Hey, I wanted to ask you about the wide receivers. I wanted to get your opinion on. Do we? Now, it's weird, you got Eddie Royal leaving now, and you got a Keenan Allen. That's a legitimate number 2. We all agree with that. I think he's not your game-breaking number 1 wide receiver.
We don't all agree with that, but keep going.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. Majority of us would probably agree with that.
Mikey never agrees with anybody.
That was Jason.
No, that was Jason. You know how it goes.
Oh, Jason.
We need you to hammer down your gavelin. Yeah, we need you to order this court, man. No, who do you see out there, veteran wise? Names are being thrown, but do you wait till the draft, or do you got to get a veteran in here?
No, I think they should grab Stevie Johnson.
I like your style.
I still think he's got some good tread left in the tires. He's never. Playing in San Francisco, Colin Kaepernick's not a real quarterback anyway. It's like a running back throwing a football, on some kind of trick play type thing. So for him to come down south and play with a real quarterback, a guy that can throw, the guy that knows how to run an offense, I think you're going to see him really excel, and he could be a number 1 receiver. I don't think they should draft a receiver if they're going to wait till in the later rounds because we definitely need someone in the backfield now that. Oh, I'm so glad he's gone. Glass Matthews.
Yes. I'm glad you agree with me on that. That's awesome.
I thought, Trav, I thought there would be a lot of people on the thank God Matthews is gone, but there's a lot of people that are bummed that he's gone.
I'm on that board. I'm on that train.
Everybody wanted him gone, and now they're like, oh, I want him back.
I know. Like there's a love affair all of a sudden.
And the thing a lot of people don't realize is that when he was at Fresno State, the Chargers were warned that he was damaged goods, and that piece of crap A.J. Smith went in there and grabbed him anyway. He was warned not to draft him, and he did it anyway, like a dumbass. So, he was damaged goods in college. He was broke in college. He's still broke now. He's going to Philadelphia. He's playing with a broke quarterback. What are they going to do? Have wheelchairs in the backfield now in Philadelphia for 2 guys that are back there?
Yeah.
You got a quarterback that can't walk, and you got a running back that can't walk.
They got to upgrade their training staff, right? That's the joke going. So, I don't know. You bring in a Sam Bradford. Now you got Sproles and Matthews, and now they're entertaining. My buddy Jeff just texted me. DeMarco Murray's on his way to Philly for a visit. So yeah. I don't know what Chip's doing, man. And we brought that up to Jake, and Jake just kind of goes hands in the air. Who knows what he's doing, but he might have a plan, and they might be in the playoffs. Who knows? It might work out for him.
He loves running the ball. But I think we should honestly. I would like to see the Chargers get Greg Hardy. I know people are like, oh, well, he's going to be suspended. He's only going to be suspended for 1, maybe 2 games. So to get someone like that, to let them sit for 1 game, it's well worth it. That guy's a beast coming from the outside corner. And he would be like Spinner Rooney number 2, for sure. And I really think, I know a lot of people out there what Gordon, drafted as running back, and I have a feeling the Chargers are probably going to take him anyway. But I really would like to see them draft Jay Ajayi. I think that guy is just a beast mode 2.0. He's like LT and Marshawn Lynch combined. And LT's been working with him down in San Diego. So it's been, I think, and I know LT's telling the Chargers to draft him. I think he'd be really good for this team.
And he's that boy from Boise, right?
I believe so. Yes.
5'11", 220 pounds. The guy can run, the guy can catch, and the guy can block. And we haven't had that backfield in how long?
Yeah, the plethora of running backs this year. I just dropped the plethora on you guys.
Nice.
The plethora of running backs this year are great. And me and Jason, I know, like Duke Johnson, he would fill a role, I think, very well for the Chargers. So, Cal, I got to let you go because we got a hot phone line tonight, as always. But thank you for the pub and everything you do. The mayor's in the house once again, and we
Die Hard Bolt Club. Follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, shout out your stuff, man. Give him some love.
Yeah, you guys got to follow the Die Hard Bolt Club on Twitter. We are the only, and I mean the only, Chargers fan page on Twitter that the great LT follows.
Well, there you go. That's something to be proud of, my man.
That you got to hang your hat on that, my friend. All right.
He doesn't even follow me, but he follows my club. What the hell?
We're very proud to be part of your club, Trav.
You got to follow the mayor.
You guys got to make sure you guys tune in every week to these guys. The junkies are awesome. I give you guys a little more props. Some local newspaper or something out of Chicago or something was kind of like, get me to write for them. And I said, no, thanks. I'm very happy with my sports junkies in San Diego.
Boy. All right, man.
We appreciate it, dude.
See you guys Sunday.
Yep.
You know where, Callie? I know we're going to meet down there Sunday, so that'd be fun. And as always, I close the show with Go Bolts.
Go Bolts.
Later, Trav. Thanks for everything, bro.
Later, guys.
Thanks, man.
Later.
Guys, take care. See ya.
All right, guys, so the phone line is hot, and Sam, I know you're patiently waiting to talk Padres, and we want to talk Padres. We got to give Steve-O, a.k.a. Our fantasy guru, a chance. He's been trying to call in about, 75 times now, so we got to let him get on the line, but until he does...
there he is.
And here he comes right now. Let's get Steve-O on the line. Steve-O, the fantasy guru, what's up, buddy?
Sports junkies. What's up, guys?
Not
What's
much.
up, man?
What do you think about all this free agent stuff going on?
Fantasy guru of the fantasy corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. What's up?
What's up, bro? So what's up, Steve-O? What's on your mind?
I have to tell you guys, man, this has been one of the most exciting NFL off seasons in the last 10 years.
Explain.
Well, let's go through that. First off, let's talk local. Okay, we're on the Sports Junkies of San Diego, so let's talk about San Diego's acquisitions, right? The biggest one that we can talk about is Jacoby Jones.
Really?
I mean,
the biggest one is Orlando Franklin because he does weigh in at about 350 and he's 6'7".
Do you,
he's a dude. Unfortunately, Orlando Franklin's probably not on your fantasy squad. So
no, he's not. Not a first-round pick for me.
No. Well, I mean, hey, if you want to join my league, you can pick him first round all day, Sneed.
Don't be throwing Cam Newton's name at me.
Now, what do you think about Ryan Matthews going to the Eagles? I know that he's had injury problems and stuff, but do you see him putting up some big fantasy numbers for Philadelphia next season?
No, especially with the recent news that DeMarco Murray is actually reaching out to the Eagles as well.
I know, I heard that as well. What would the Eagles be doing with another running back?
Well, that's what just came down a little while ago. He's on his way to Philly right now to meet with him, so who knows?
So again, keeping it with San Diego, this is as far as fantasy goes, you guys. Okay, let's talk about Jacoby Jones. I know everyone's excited because everyone remembers what he did in Baltimore that one season, the famous catch. And unfortunately, from a fantasy perspective, I gotta kind of burst everyone's bubble. Okay, Jacoby Jones is a very average receiver. He doesn't have crazy speed. He does not know how to separate from a defender. He has very subpar hands, and his biggest asset to the Chargers is going to be in special teams. which is great because we haven't really had that special teams guy since Darren Sproles left, so that's cool.
Right.
I'm excited for Jacoby to be here, but if you guys are expecting him to come in and be a key player on offense right away, be expecting Robert Meacham numbers from last year.
Ooh,
Yeah,
boy.
I agree with you.
That's a bad word.
Well,
too.
I think a lot of people are really hyped on Jacoby, and I think people are saying he's going to be a dynamic offensive player, and I don't see it at all. I think he's going to be a great addition to our special teams unit, and that's about it.
That's it. There's zero. He'll probably put up actually worse numbers than Meacham put up. And the problem is Jacoby does not have a skill set that that's going to really benefit our team because he's a very average player. He is great in open field as far as the kick return game goes, and that's I think he's top 5 the last 5 or 6 years in as far as return yards. So he's great in that aspect. So other than that, you guys are reaching for the stars if you think he's going to be like an asset player. And realistically, his skill set, the defenders already know who he is. It's not going to be so him being on our lineup isn't even really going to help any other receiver or running back we have because it's not like Jacoby's not going to draw double coverage. You guys know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. Also, other things I want to talk about. Couple big things in Indy. Indy just got Frank Gore and Andre Johnson. That's freaking huge.
Right. It is huge, especially since the Chargers were courting Andre Johnson.
Well, you want to know why it's huge? Okay, Gore and Johnson are like the senior citizens in the league, and they're still putting up top 10 numbers.
I was going to say that they equate to about a 70-year-old man, right?
Yeah, pretty close. I think Andre Johnson's 34 this year, and Frank Gore is 31. So, yeah, they're getting up there in age, but nothing is dropping in their game realistically. And Indy, I'll tell you what. I mean, Andrew Luck should probably be the first quarterback off the board next year in fantasy drafts because he just has 2 huge assets to his offense. So that's huge for Indy. Also, let's talk Jimmy Graham going to Seattle.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, that was a big move for them. It was pretty surprising that they traded, what was it, a first rounder and Jimmy Graham. That's mind-boggling to me. I don't get what they're doing there.
I don't know. Maybe the Saints know something we don't know, but as far as Jimmy Graham going to Seattle, it completely makes Russell Wilson a top 5 QB pick in your fantasy drafts next year. Mm-hmm. It makes it boosts Marshawn Lynch. Not that Lynch had any drop in his value, but it boosts Lynch's value because Seattle now legitimately has a number 1 receiving threat with Graham, and it's really going to just spread that field open for Marshawn. They're not going to be defenses are not going to be able to stack 8 in the box against Lynch because last year, let's face it, Seattle's best receiver was Doug Baldwin, 6'2", 210-pound, very just average guy. Decent hands, but that's their best receiving threat.
Well, I definitely agree with you, Steve-O. We got so many calls coming in right now. I don't mean to cut you off, but we do appreciate the phone call. Next time, call in, give us your fantasy picks. Tonight's been 7 calls in a row, guys? Yeah. We got 2 guys on waiting, if you could, but thank you for calling in, Steve-O. We appreciate it, buddy.
We look forward to you when you start the show back up.
I'll see you guys next Wednesday, 7:00, www.SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com.
That boy. See you later, bro.
Amen.
Later.
All right, man. That opens up our phone line. Sam G., you are on the line, my friend. 619-866-4567. Let's talk some Padres baseball, Sam. Give us a call.
I don't think he wants to. Chat room says no. Let's talk a little Padre baseball. You guys want to dive into that, or you guys want to go to commercial?
Well, if he's not gonna call in, we can take a quick commercial break. But we'll give him a couple more minutes to gather up the courage. What's happened in this whole free agency has been kind of crazy. I know we don't venture outside of San Diego sports a whole lot, but what's gone on in free agency has been astronomical. And Sam G has called in. Hey, Sam, welcome to the show, buddy.
What up, fellas? How's it going?
What's up, man?
You're sorry we missed like 10 of your calls, man. It's been pretty crazy today there, Sam. Sorry about that.
That's probably for the best. I was a little bit fired up at the point.
So, do you want to? Were you calling? Do you want to talk Padres, or what do you want to talk about today?
So I'll just kind of skip around a little bit.
Sounds good, man.
Sounds good to us.
I'm going to go ahead and squash this Percy Harvin bullshit that we keep hearing.
Yes.
All right.
Seattle gave up everything that they possibly could to get him. After a year and a half, they let him go for next to nothing.
Yes.
He went over to another team, and they're already willing to let him go. So, no, we're not going to go after him. Let's just squash that shit already.
All right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That is telling, by the way.
That's
a great point. The fact that Seattle gave up so much to get him over there, and you're right, they just let him go. So that is, as much as everybody there talked like, oh, he was a good guy and everything. That's very
Obviously
telling,
not.
and that is a really good point there, Sam.
Right.
So, anyway, I'll go ahead and give my intake or my outtake on how the Padres have been doing. I've been to a few games of theirs. I've got a chance to see just about everybody play, so I'm just going to give a little bit about it. They're doing pretty well as far as hitting is concerned. They've had over 10 hits in 4 out of the last 5 games, so that's been good. That means we're getting base runners and things like that. That includes today, which was I don't know, it seemed like a split squad team.
Mm-hmm.
In the outfield, there were 3 center fielders playing the 3 different positions, which was interesting to see. It looked like Venable may have actually hurt his arm. I'm not sure when it happened, but he had a throw in the first where it didn't even reach the cutoff man in the infield, and then throw in the 6th that was something similar, and it was offline.
He did it. He did it as he was throwing.
No. Well, I don't really know when it happened, but I just looking at his throws and his reaction afterwards. He was shaking his arm like something was hurting.
Yeah, and he's kind of one of those bubble guys right now, Sam. But I predicted that he would make this roster because the switch-handed bat, the left-handed bat, I should say. He plays really good outfield. He's got really good speed. He covers a lot of ground. So if he is hurt, like you're saying, that's going to be a big blow to the Padres, and I think to his chances of making the opening day roster.
Yeah, I mean it's going to see, or we're going to have to see what happens. Nothing official has come out. Nobody said anything about it. I tried to contact Dennis Lynn about it. He didn't respond to me about it or anything like that. So maybe it was just an anomaly. But as far as what we expect, here's the big blow. I don't think that Myers is going to be the starting center fielder. I honestly do not think that after what I've seen. He hasn't been hitting well, and his fielding hasn't been great on top of that.
Yeah.
So I think Maven is actually going to be able to bring his speed to the lineup, which I think is his biggest attribute. He's hit average. I wouldn't say he's hit great. I wouldn't say he's hit bad. But it's gonna be a boost for him that he has that speed, which I've seen them stealing bases. Both him and Venable have been stealing bases, which we haven't seen a whole lot of. So that, I don't know, we'll see how that goes. But as it looks, we're in a precarious situation where we haven't seen something like this before. There's 6 outfielders currently.
Right.
And you're asking yourself who's going to be number 3, which I'm personally projecting that it's going to be Maven will be the starting center fielder, and I think Quentin's going to be the number 4 outfielder. I know there was talk about him taking drills at first base, but he hasn't even touched first base in spring training, so I don't think that's even anything that you can concern yourself with. Solarte has been playing first when Yonder hasn't been there, so that's probably the backup.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about, Sam, was first base. I mean, I know I'll talk about Quentin and stuff like that, but so who's looking ahead at first right now?
How about Medica? How's Medica looked?
Medica's actually looked decent, but he's come in the later innings, so it's tough to say that he will continue that when it comes to, the actual starting players.
Right.
it's going to be Yonder that's going to start it first.
Yeah, Yonder's been playing really, really well.
He made an error today that was something that a simple error, if you will, in that he stretched before the ball was thrown. And so when the ball was thrown, it was thrown offline by Amarista. And we'll see if that's, if he continues that. I'm sure, the fielding coaches are going to work with him on that. That's obviously a big part of playing first base.
Right. I don't ever think Yonder's really been that great of a defensive first baseman anyways.
No, he's not a great defensive. We're not asking him to, cover between first and second base. We're just asking him to play the position because we need a left-handed bat in the lineup.
If he can hit his doubles, if you guys agree, I mean, he is a doubles kind of machine type of player. He hits the gaps. Yeah, he's supposed to be, but he's had his spurts where you go, wow, he's crushing it. But do we all think he can emerge as that guy? I mean, he's one of the longer tenured Padres around
he's
now.
Have every opportunity to. That's
right.
For sure.
What do you think, Sam? Do you think he can? I know he'll be the starter, but do you think he can be consistent all year?
So I don't know if you guys remember, but a few weeks back I put out what I thought my starting lineup would look like on opening day.
I remember
that. I put Yonder in I put Yonder in the second position, and you guys are like, "Oh, really? You think that's going to happen?"
That's
so
right.
He's been hitting second pretty much every day that he's been playing.
You called it, man.
He's been hitting second when he's hitting in front of Kemp, and I will tell you for a fact that guy is going to be a machine. He's going to hit 260 to 270.
Yeah, he's going to see some great pitches right there.
Nice. Now,
it's going to be fastballs, and he's been spanking it when he's been in front of Kemp and Upton for that matter.
Now, the three guys that we brought in, the three big outfielders that everybody was so excited about. The one worry that everybody's talked about is our defense taking a step back in the outfield. I know that I watched the first televised game, and I thought the defense was fine in the outfield. Kemp's arm was a little bit weaker than I remember. But what have you seen so far defensively from our outfielders?
Kemp made an error a couple of days ago when it came to fielding what I would consider a routine fly ball. He didn't make a great break on the ball initially, and it was a shallow fly ball. He came in, he tried to underhand it and hit the glove or the palm of his hand, and at that point it was over.
Yeah.
What I've seen as far as like being able to throw, the only person I've seen that's had an issue throwing is Venable so far. Outside of that, they've all seemed decent. Maven has just as much range as I thought he would. He's kept his speed up in his off time and things like that. Myers has been playing center field and right field when he's come in, but he's been coming in with the second unit. So that kind of tips my hand as far as like what I'm seeing from Bud Black.
Quick question, Sam. As far as Carlos Quentin, and maybe I'm off topic, maybe I'm not, but what do you think about the possibility if he continues to hit well in spring training? What are the chances that the Padres try to move him before opening day?
I want to say that it's going to be limited, and the only reason that I say that is he's going to provide that big bat depth that you want. Obviously, I mean, he is not an everyday outfielder. I mean, just his movement shows that. He's hitting well, so that's beneficial.
Absolutely.
When it comes to interleague games, he's going to be the first choice as far as DH is concerned, unless they switch it up and put somebody else, in the DH position and have him play left field one day. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. It's possible if somebody comes up with, the right offer.
Right.
I don't know if that's going to happen, though.
All right, Sam. Well, we appreciate you finally getting online here to talk with us, man. And we appreciate you've been a big advocate of us for a long time now, and we appreciate everything you do for us to get our name out there and be a piece of our show each and every week. So thanks for taking the time to give us a call.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Right on, Sam. We're going to take a quick break, you guys. We come back. We pose this question to you. Do the San Diego Chargers, or does San Diego deserve the Chargers? We'll break that down right after the break.
Are you a San Diego sports fanatic or looking for a user-friendly sports platform to voice your opinion? Then visit us at SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com or message our lead editor on Twitter at Mike_SDSJ. You'll soon be showing the world your passion for San Diego sports on our blog.
Also listen to our live podcast every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We are a show for fans, by the fans. Talking Chargers, Padres, Aztecs, and anything San Diego sports.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
So to keep you by my side, there's nothing that I won't try. Butterflies in her eyes and her looks to kill. Time is passing, I'm asking, could this be real? Cause I can't sleep, I can't hold still. The only thing I really know is she got sex appeal. I can feel too much is never enough. You always there to lift me up when these times get rough. I was lost, now I'm found ever since you've been.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to San Diego Sports Junkies. I want to bring up a couple things. The first thing I want to really talk about, guys, is the website. If you haven't checked this out, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. It's free to sign up. If you sign up, you can write an article about, Chargers, Aztecs, Aztec football, Aztec basketball, Padres, goals, anything San Diego sports related. Write it up there, and, I'll go through it, edit it, post it up, make sure it's using the correct format.
One thing that people we get believe it or not, we get criticized, and one of the things we get criticized is we leave a lot of sports out. And one of the problems is we do the show one day a week,
right.
And who's going to listen to a 3-hour podcast? We just can't do it for 3 hours. Aztecs football takes a back seat.
Right.
Aztecs baseball takes a back seat.
Right.
The Gulls, we're going to really try and incorporate them in when they start playing here. But for those of you who got something to say about that, write an article. We will put it up, and the more articles and the more steam that gets, the more likely we are, the more things we'll have to talk about.
Right.
And so recently we've had some fan articles. Donnie's written a couple.
Yep.
Buddy of mine.
Yeah, what was his name? Sorry.
Johnny. Yes.
It's not Jay Shinny.
No, at Jay Shinny if you guys want to follow him on Twitter.
But, and that's the article I really want to bring up, guys. And we teased it before we went to commercial break, is he had an interesting article. First of all, let me say he grew up a Lions fan, moved to Southern California, San Diego, correct?
Yes.
And then
he's from Michigan, right? And then 7 years now, and he's a military veteran. So and he wrote an interesting article on an outsider's perspective, which was, does San Diego deserve the Chargers? And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I've sat here and thought about it. I thought about where I've stood since the announcement that the Chargers might leave. And as this whole drama has unfolded. Some days I get mad at the Chargers. Some days I get mad at, the city. Mostly I get mad at Fabiani almost every single day. Yes.
But it was an interesting article, and it made me think. And, one point that I thought he brought up was the part about the blackouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And, it's interesting because if, everybody complains, all these fans show up. But honestly, if those opposing fans didn't show up, more games may be blacked out.
Right.
And that was the part that got me thinking, like, do we really care enough about our team to go to the game? If you look at the numbers, or you look at the fan turnout,
you could say no.
You could say no.
But, that's debatable. I think every fan has their own idea what a true fan is in San Diego. And we've had the debate about going to the stadium opposed to being in your couch and your bathroom 10 feet away.
I think different areas of the country, the people are different. And it's not that do San Diegans care enough about the Chargers to go to the games. It's honestly, do San Diegans care enough to be loyal to anything?
Right.
Honestly, we have the beach here. How often does, there are people that are diehards and they're out at the beach every single weekend, and there are people that go to the beach, just whenever. It's always going to be there, so I'll go whenever I feel like it, you know. There's diehards that go to every single Charger game, and then there's other people who like the Chargers, but I'll go because the Chargers are always going to be there.
Yeah.
It's different cities are different,
And it took me to a conversation that we had with Darren a long time ago. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I always remember it because Darren scolded me about it, where I told him that I gave up season tickets when I saw A.J. Smith running the franchise. Remember that?
I remember you getting scolded.
Yeah, you remember me getting scolded?
Yes.
And the one thing, since then that I've learned is there's no rules. Darren's not the fan police.
No, you're right.
No, he's not. I can tell you that for sure. He cracks on me all the time. So I just disregard his comments now.
You know what I'm saying? But no, I thought about that, and I remember on Twitter someone said something, and I remember the quote is rules are for egos.
Right.
And it's like no one makes the rules on how you get to be a fan.
Right.
You can be a fan however you want.
Well, it's something we had to learn too doing this show. We have a platform to talk about what we love, and it's sports. And people have the right to criticize what we say if we're putting ourselves out there. And like we've always said, we're just fans with opinions. Yeah. But you don't have to agree with anything we say.
No.
We're not professionals. We're not experts, quote unquote, in anything. So
one thing that we talk a lot about it, but honestly, we're not the authority on anything.
No.
We're just four guys talking about it. And I like what you said there, Mikey, is there's no rules to being a fan, and except your own personal rules.
Right.
You have your own personal rules. I have my own personal rules. Darren has his own personal rules. Yeah. And, what to him is a fan and what to you as a fan are different. And that's, I think when you go to a place like Seattle, or when you go to a place like Justin's favorite team.
Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs.
Kansas City. You go to a place like that, and maybe they all, those fans, there's more fans there that think like,
Right.
whereas in San Diego, everybody has their own way and their own opinion of what a fan should be.
And I think that, if you've grown up in San Diego or you've lived in San Diego for a long time, that this is Heartbreak City.
it is.
You know that, the Chargers are going to go 13-3 and then lose in the first playoff game. The Padres are going to look amazing, and then they're going to finish in dead last place.
You've been through the ringer
in past years. Make sure you correct that in past years.
Dude, until I see
we don't need Rosie hearing that. It's a new era in Padre
baseball. A different perspective, really quick for you guys, and actually the mayor, SoCal Trav, brought it up in the chat room. The venue. I think the venue has a lot to do with people showing up as well. The Qualcomm is really run down. Justin and I and the guys were talking before the show. And I hate to put it in the same sentence, but it's really equivalent to what the Oakland's got up there. It's a really old beat up stadium. Like Justin's saying, there's a video that's going around where they walk through, and there's just major structural cracks. There's rust. There's mold. Yeah. They try to cover it up with a bunch of banners and try to make it look nice, but the venue is a dump. We were there at the Chargers rally, the Save the Boat rally, and we're just getting dripped on by water during that event.
We forgot our ponchos.
The venue is a turnoff to a lot of people that might not be diehard fans.
Well, diehard in their own way. Like I said, I consider myself a diehard Charger fan. I love the Chargers.
You just don't have the diehard wallet.
I don't.
That's what I'm saying. It's expensive.
Not only do I not have the diehard wallet, but let me tell you, I enjoy going down. I enjoy hanging out with all the guys down there in the stadium over at H3.
Fun atmosphere.
That is all awesome. But I'm going to be honest with you. I really enjoy watching the game, and I really enjoy following the game, and there's no better place to do that than watching it on the
your
television.
Couch, yeah.
And if you remember, we went down last season, and we went and tailgated, and we did a live show, and we did all that. And then before the game was done, we packed up our stuff, and we went home and watched it. Not because I don't like the Chargers, not because I'm not a fan, but because I
like
really
my couch.
can follow the game on the television, and maybe that is a venue problem too.
I want to say Darren chimed in here, says, "Get behind the players, not the game. Cry about it." No, Darren, I will not cry about it.
You will not dictate what we say, Darren. Knock it off. You'll have your own show soon, buddy.
See, the problem is he does bring a different perspective, But the thing is, it is for some people. It's not just the players; it's the entire team, and the GM is the face of that team.
Of course,
if for some people, if the GM is making moves that you don't agree with, and he's putting together a team that you don't like,
you're not going to waste your money on it.
A lot of people vote with their wallets. That's the way they do it. Doesn't mean you're not a fan, though.
Yeah, and I'm still going to go with Darren here. I was behind the team. I'm just not going to spend my money on season tickets.
Of course.
When I see a product that's, when I see this, when it's like getting this great car and then, smashing the windows in and, putting dents all over and then expecting to keep paying for it. I'm not done. Put the fingers down. Put the fingers down. We're not done here.
I got 10 fingers up.
I know. Okay, well, you can wait 10 more seconds.
Mayor says no.
But, another point is that, it is, like I said, it is how you follow them. And, at some point, I think about it because, Aztec tickets prices are coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to upgrade my seats to where it's going to cost me $600 a seat, maybe, or $400, $500, which is the cheap seats at the Chargers games.
Right.
So I think that
what's your trade off?
But I'm thinking I wouldn't pay for the 8 games at $400, but I'll pay for the 19 games at San Diego State.
Better value.
But also the experience is a different. It's a different experience.
Way different experience.
Well,
different
that's
experience.
New, brand new facility, or Viejas is new and it's nice. People love to come there. Can't say that about Qualcomm.
And that's
People
a similar point to what Johnny made in his article. And you can read this article on SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. Go under our blog. Trevor made a comment as well that he's going to be writing an article for us. So I hope you do, Trevor.
Fantastic.
But the Browns, they're not a good organization. Their team isn't very good. They sell at every game. I mean, excuses are like assholes, guys. Let's be honest.
Wow.
Let's be honest. The fans aren't standing behind this organization for whatever reason. Everybody's got a reason, but there's other teams that are way worse than the Chargers, and they sell every game, and they've sold every game for a long time.
So, to be fair, what are you doing in Cleveland on a Sunday?
Exactly.
No, I understand that, but we can't sit here and I understand it's easier to watch it at home. It's cheaper to watch it at home. It's more convenient to watch it at home. But at the same time, if you really want to back your team and if you really don't want them to leave to another city, it's going to take us to step up as individuals to really show your respect for the team, that you want to back the team so they don't pack up and leave.
If they're gonna stay here, we're gonna back it with our wallets when we pay, whatever tax or whatever money, as we paid. But like you said, there's other places that have those fans, but those fans aren't in Jacksonville. Those fans aren't in some of these places. These are teams with major history. You talk about the Browns. The Browns are, they lost their team, and they fought to get one back.
Right.
So that these are teams that have a long, rich history that we don't have. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, and then another thing I was going to bring up, what you were alluding to earlier, as far as affordability. You're paying high-quality prices for a stadium that's not adequate to enjoy an NFL experience. If you look around the league, and I'm not saying, nitpick this and that, you're going there for the atmosphere and the team. I get that. Look, I can only afford 2 or 3 games a season. That's it. I can't afford season tickets. But you look around the NFL and you watch your games on the couch with a cold one and your bathroom's right there. That's awesome. But you look on TV and they have these big Titantrons, HD badass screens. You have state-of-the-art feel. Everything just looks brand new. Things are new. Things look fresh. It looks amazing. Just the architecture of some of these facilities, you look around and you're like, man, that's so awesome. Wish we could get a new stadium. You look at Qualcomm, it's just this big ring in the ground, and it's a beautiful city around it, but then you see there's the dump.
Well, we talked about this before. You walk around this parking lot that you paid $25 to park in, and it's all potholed, and it's just a real...
And you go and park in one spot and park in the same spot.
Yeah, your tent has to be in your spot.
And then you go into the stadium, and you think, I spent all this money, and now I got to wait 25 minutes to use the bathroom, and it's
a turnoff.
It just feels like,
it
has nothing to do with the team on the field now. You just feel like, I paid this for what?
Well, and like I said, there's a select few, which includes us, that we'll back our team no matter what. We'll show up to the game. But as he points out in the article as well, back to that, he made a comment on that Broncos-Chargers game. We're up 28-0 or 24-0 at halftime. Then the Broncos start to go on a little run in the third quarter, and he said he felt like he was up in Mile High State, Mile High at Denver, because half the stadium is the opposing team's fans.
Right.
To quote him here, he said, "This is why I don't think the Chargers deserve San Diego deserves the Chargers. The fans of the city are like the weather. When it's sunny and 75, everybody is happy and loves to gloat. But when the rain comes, people lose their minds and are afraid to leave their homes?
Well, two things that Sam mentioned, that there's the amenities for families are non-existent. It's not a family-friendly environment.
No.
Right.
But the other thing I was going to mention was, I've been to many cities and I've visited games. Usually I go to a city to watch some kind of game. And, I've been to Anaheim a lot. I've been to Angel Stadium. I've been to the Pond. And I think we talked about this. I'm not a Ducks fan because, man, those games are boring.
Yeah.
You go to Staples Center, it's a whole different environment. So it's not just us.
Right.
But certain places, San Diego, no matter where you go, Padres games, you go to Charger games.
Which is getting better each year.
We are not that kind of people that go crazy for our sports.
You're right.
Why? Because we have other things to do. Maybe it's we have other options. But sports doesn't run our lives as much as we like to think it does.
Well,
right. That's another great point. And we do have every team has a core of fans that are just unbelievably. That is all they're consumed by that.
Even the Jaguars.
But in San Diego, that core is much smaller. And no matter what happens, because of San Diego being that melting pot, no matter how many games the Chargers win, no matter how many Super Bowls the Chargers win, we are still going to have a large percentage of fans from other teams at our games. That's just the way it's going to be.
And I told you guys when last season, I don't know if you remember, I said, I'm going to the Jags game because I know I'm not going to have to deal with some jerk-off Jags fan in the parking lot.
Yeah,
because they're almost non-existent here in San Diego.
Yeah. Good point from Sam in the chat room. Happened to bring my daughter to the Seattle game, which happened to be one of the hottest games of the year. No place to take my daughter to cool her off. Little things like that.
Yep.
Little things.
Yeah.
Amenities of brand new stadiums that provide shelter. A place to cool off. That's one of the many issues of all of this.
And some of the fans that are at the games, I don't want to hate on fellow Charger fans. However, the few games I've been to the last few years, I got the tickets through work. They're at the same spot every year, and there's a few jackoffs that sit in that area, and all they do is complain about the play calling, and it gets so tiring for every single time a play doesn't go for a touchdown. Why
don't you turn around and tell them, Mike Dick, and knock it off?
Yes, I'm not a violent person, and by the time the game is over, I want to punch the guy in the face just to shut him up.
Right.
Yeah, and one thing, Hula said that, crazy stuff happens everywhere in tailgating. You've seen the videos on YouTube of crazy things. So it happens everywhere. So it's not the fans.
She's right.
But I will say, if you go to an Aztec basketball game, the fan experience is amazing. Mm-hmm. And you know why? Well, this is my personal thing. You know what makes the Aztec game different?
It's college.
No.
It's 99% Aztec fans.
There's no alcohol served at the games.
Well, the VIPs get them before in halftime.
The VIPs are like 70.
I know. The alums. I get.
We've been in that room before, Justin.
Well, and I agree with you somewhat, Mikey. Yeah, you don't want kids coming in there obliterated. I get that. Right. But yes, that could be a problem. I kind of hated it because I'd love to have a beer and watch the game. I'm not going to be belligerent in there, but other people take it to another level. So I get what you're saying. It is. I think the college atmosphere at Viejas is worth the price of admission. Even if you're paying $20 for one single game, it's a must see and it's a must go to Viejas.
Hey, Trevor, who's the Running Rebels? I don't know if I've heard of them.
Are they new? Are they a new college opening?
Hashtag Save Dave.
Save Dave. Is that next to Grand Canyon University?
We'll see how they take over Thomas and Mack, aka the Aztecs' second home away from home tomorrow when they face the Aztecs at 6 o'clock.
Surprised we didn't have any Lobo fans join the show tonight.
Yeah, Lobo Gabe. I mean, I gave him an opportunity and the phone number to call in and talk about the University of New Mexico Lobos,
the hobos. There you go.
So, you guys, really quick, we're going to have to wrap this down, but Padres turning into the Bronx Bombers. Pretty exciting, huh?
Oh, my goodness.
Pretty cool.
Oh, my goodness.
Overreaction
Wednesday.
Hey, you guys. Well, remember when I said last week and a couple weeks prior, I go, you asked me about Will Middlebrooks, and I thought he might lose the job to Solarte. The way he's hitting the ball, if he keeps this up, obviously, you did call it. I didn't know how to take him, and I thought maybe last year's struggles would carry over. So, obviously, you have some cause for concern, but I do wish him the best, and I do hope he wins the job. I just thought Solarte would win.
Quick question, and I didn't know this, to be honest, but you know that Will Middlebrooks was brought up through the Boston organization as a shortstop?
Yes.
Did you guys know that?
No. Didn't know, didn't care.
He was
but a lot of people have been speculating that he could ultimately win the shortstop starting role, and then they could have Solarte starting at third base.
A lot of people speculate many things, and most of them don't know what they're talking about. I'm just saying. No,
I don't see that happening.
I don't know if it's going to happen because what I thought a week ago about this team has changed completely from what I've seen on the field.
Right.
We thought for sure this was going to, or not for sure, but we thought this is going to happen, and Middlebrooks is, Solarte is going to take third or whatever it was that week.
Yeah,
it changes every week, and we don't know.
We don't know. It does change every week. That's the beauty of baseball too, and then especially we have something to talk about in spring training like we didn't have last year. Right. So this is all great right now.
One thing Mike called this was Overreaction Wednesday, and you know what's awesome is we have something to overreact to. Because all we had to do last year is talk about, when the season starts, we're going to get career years out of all these guys. Hey, we got career years, but they were career bad years for all those guys.
And I'll ride these wave of emotions right up to opening day.
Yeah. You should. You should feel great about it, too.
Before we go, can I give you guys a couple things that are on my mind that you guys can react to?
Please do.
One, losing Eddie Royal is not that big of a deal.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you.
Disagree.
All right.
It's always 3 against 1.
We're going to say, 2 years from now, we're going to be like, I don't think, maybe Jason will be the only one being like, damn, man, Eddie Royal would have caught that and took it to the house for 98 yards.
Well,
I know. I get what you're saying.
That's one thing we didn't get out of him. And what's funny is when he first signed in Chicago, first of all, I'm notorious for the second a Charger player is no longer a Charger, I hate him and want him to die.
Uh-huh.
So
except for Royals and Matthews.
Except for Ryan Matthews, I really like him, and I think that he's going to surprise people. But anyways, when Eddie Royal signed with Chicago, my first words were, my God, Jay Cutler didn't have a very good year, and that's when he had 2 really good receivers. Now he's got Eddie Royal.
I don't see. It just doesn't.
And then Trevor said he disagrees because Eddie Royal is a lot better than Jacoby Jones. This has nothing to do with Jacoby Jones.
No, Jacoby.
Eddie Royal is a third receiver.
Yeah,
Jacoby Jones isn't even our 5th receiver at this point, to me, in my opinion. Yeah. So I think you just hold Jacoby.
And then Portland said 8 TDs last year. TDs can vary. I mean, I think people get double digit and they get 1 the next year.
Well, Keenan Allen.
But it does not. Eddie Royal had some big games for us, though, and I do think that we are going to miss his leadership, and I do think that we're going to miss him on third down. And if we can replace him, that's fantastic. But
it doesn't dismiss the fact that Jacoby Jones can't be an impact player on the Chargers.
Right.
Every system is different. The Chargers might move him around and play different. We know that. We know he's just not a great pass-catching wide receiver at that level. He's a returner. He's a specialist.
I mean, so 62 receptions for 778 yards.
He dropped like 9 balls last year.
You know what? And it's like, that's fine. Terrible. I mean, again, he's just not someone, that was his, second highest year? And his highest since 2008 was 62 receptions. So it's not like we're talking about this guy who's amazing.
But nobody's calling Eddie Royal a number 1 wide receiver.
Acting like we're sad, like he's.
We're sad because he's. I see Portland Bolt fan, and I agree with you, Portland. I think that we're going to lose. We've lost a good player. He's going to be tough to replace, and that's just what I think.
He'll be tough to replace, but you can. He's
replaceable.
He's replaceable.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I love you, Jason.
Next.
All right, guys.
One more. He's got one more.
I got one more. I have one more, man. Really quick. There was some talk, and you mentioned it, about the Aztecs, about Winston Shepard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't listen to anybody that's talking Aztecs right now. No one knows what they're talking about.
That kind of stuff, and some guy heard this, and he knows somebody knows somebody that knows somebody.
That Shepard's going pro.
Where? In China?
In
because
Europe.
He's not going to the NBA.
No. So, I'm, just overall, I just want to say, your guys' thoughts, and disagree or agree with me, nobody's leaving next year.
I agree.
I agree.
No, I agree with you too.
No one's leaving.
I think Pope stays, and I think Winston stays.
And let me tell you why. You have 3 guys that are graduating and leaving this year, all big contributors.
Yep.
Right.
All part of that 8 to 9 man rotation.
Yep.
That means 3 spots are going to be open.
Yep.
Dakari, Zabo,
Daryl. Yeah, if he stays.
Yeah. Well, I just told you. You said he's staying.
Well, I mean, he might transfer.
I asked you if anyone's leaving.
Oh, I thought you meant for the NBA.
At all.
Okay, I'm
Don't
sorry.
forget about Zylan.
Zylan. I mean, you got 4 guys that are fighting for 3 spots here that are opening up, which are major minutes, especially JJ since he's playing like 70 minutes a game.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, those 70 minutes got to go through like 7 guys.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I'm just saying, if you're an Aztec player, I don't see how you can go, we're losing about 70 minutes in
right.
game time.
Well, we've said that the last 4 years too, with
Yeah.
Chase, DJ, and X leaving. So I mean, it's all replaceable minutes. We'll get our scoring from somewhere. That's just the way it goes in Aztec land. We don't rebuild, we reload.
Exactly.
It's like click, click, boom.
Trevor, we're bringing the noise tomorrow, 6 p.m., buddy. You better be ready. We're going to wrap it up, guys. We thank each and every one of you guys for joining in the chat room, for the phone lines that just went off the hook today. Jake Hefner from ProFootballSpot.com, as always. Guys, we want to thank you for joining the show.
Real quick before we go, anybody interested in season tickets, Plaza Section 20, there's 6 seats available from our friends at
Cali Comfort.
Cali Comfort. If you're interested, the seats are $1,000 for the season tickets. There's a friend
Per seat.
Per seat. There's a friend of theirs who sits in the section with Cali Comfort who is not going to be able to renew their season tickets, so they're available. They want us to shout that out there. If anybody's interested, you can contact us, and we'll get you in touch with them.
All right, guys, that wraps it up. We'll be here next Wednesday, same time, same place. We hope you are too. This is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans.
By the
fans.
Until next week, guys. Later.
I've been through the worst, but I still get my best. God made my mold different from the rest. Then he broke that mold, so I know I'm blessed. Stand up now and face the sun.
Thank you for listening to the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. Brought to you by Cali Comfort, home of the low and slow barbecue, and SK Digital Imaging with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, and on iTunes. Visit SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com for all your Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs news.